Welcome to Chapter 1, Introduction to Training and Development. Training continues to be important in the modern workforce for several reasons. First, there are many challenges and opportunities in the workplace today, such as new technologies, globalization, and the development of e-commerce. Training equips individuals with the necessary knowledge, skills, and abilities to be productive in such a work environment. Training also serves to attract and retain employees, especially millennials, who are a highly educated, technologically connected group who approach the workplace with the mentality, "What's in it for me?" They are the generation most likely to switch jobs and be on the lookout for new opportunities to learn and grow. According to a recent Gallup survey, 87% of millennials rate professional or career growth as important to them in a job. How does training help to create a competitive advantage? An ongoing employee training program gives employees the skills they need to move up in the company. It cross-trains employees to fill staffing gaps, and it improves morale and decreases staff turnover. Here's a graphic of the key components of learning, which include both formal training and informal learning. Also, it's important to understand what learning means to an organization. Specifically, it refers to employees acquiring knowledge, skills, competencies, attitudes, or behaviors that contribute to a company's bottom line. You see here are the components of human capital. But what that term basically means is the economic value of the abilities and qualities of labor that influence productivity. You could consider your college degree human capital because it is knowledge that has economic value to an organization. In fact, it can be more valuable than physical capital, which is equipment or technology, and financial capital, which is monetary assets. An example of human capital that an organization values is when companies require their employees to sign non-compete clauses, which forbid the employee from leaving the company and going to work for a competitor for 2 years. Training develops human capital by adding to an employee's skill set and other job-related competencies. Development is the process of developing an employee with training as well as job experiences, relationships, and assessments. This might include cross-training and mentor relationships, not just being certified in a certain skill, as training would provide. Companies also should value informal learning. Once my husband asked a colleague to explain something occurring in some software he was working on. His colleague was helping him, and he was starting to understand and become more proficient with the software. When the manager of his unit told them both that my husband just had to get this on his own. This, in most any corporate training professional's opinion, would be considered extremely poor management, because it produced a lack of productivity and efficiency, while my husband struggled to learn this on his own. Companies value both explicit and tacit knowledge. You see both occurring in this lecture right now. We are discussing well-documented components of learning and models of the training process, the explicit knowledge, while I also provide an example based on tacit knowledge, the personal experience my husband had with a bad manager. Knowledge management refers to finding ways to facilitate the sharing of both tacit and explicit knowledge. Here's an example. I have a friend who is a firefighter. He discovered that the fire department has a software program that can pull up the blueprints of every building in Baton Rouge, which is helpful when the firefighters are trying to determine how best to enter a burning building safely. The problem is that only a couple of fire trucks were equipped with the software, and only a few people knew how to get into it. This pretty much made it inaccessible to most of the fire department. He recommended making the software available throughout the fire department and creating a mobile app to make the software easy to use. It's a simple knowledge management solution, but somehow no one had ever suggested it before. This is a graphic of the Instructional System Design, or ISD, process. As you see, it begins with conducting a needs assessment to determine if training is really the solution. Next, the trainer ensures employees' readiness for training. This is the know your audience part. Then the trainer creates a learning environment, develops an evaluation plan, which specifies which learning outcomes are desired and how they will be assessed, ensures the transfer of training. How will this training change the way the employee performs their work? Selects the training method, in-person or e-learning, and finally monitors and evaluates the program. While this process seems very methodical and systematic, it does have flaws. First, some organizations don't follow the neat step-by-step process. A manager might say, I want you to train the customer service representatives to be more courteous. When can you start? And there goes steps 1 and 2. Another flaw is that some organizations require trainers to provide detailed documents of every step of the process, which can add time and cost. Also, the ISD process seems to end with evaluation, but instructional designers see training as an ongoing process. Fourth, and this is a big one, many companies assume that training is the best solution without investigating other causes for performance gaps. Despite these flaws, use of the ISD process has proven to be an effective way to ensure the effectiveness of training and development. This is the ADDIE model of training. ADDIE is an acronym for Analysis, Design, Development, Implementation, and Evaluation. It's basically the ISD process in layman's terms. While the concept of ISD has been around since the early 1950s, ADDIE first appeared in 1975. It was created by the Center for Educational Technology at Florida State University for the U.S. Army, and then quickly adopted by all the U.S. Armed Forces. Some institutions have modified the ADDIE model to meet specific needs. For example, the United States Navy created a version they call PADDIE plus M. The P phase is the planning phase, which develops project goals, project objectives, budgets, and timelines. The M phase is the maintenance phase, which implements life cycle maintenance with continuous improvement models. This model is gaining acceptance in the United States government as a more complete model of ADDIE. Some organizations have adopted the PADDIE model without the M phase. One popular alternative to ADDIE is the SAM model. SAM stands for Successive Adaptive Model. The biggest difference is that SAM is an agile model, meaning that multiple steps are often taking place at once, with room for a lot of collaboration with the customer, while ADDIE is a linear model, which requires one step to be finished and reviewed before moving on. The SAM process is iterative. Each development stage is cycled through at least 3 times, and each cycle gets closer to the ideal than the last one. SAM's iterations during the development process make room for evaluations and changes to the project as needed. SAM also strongly encourages collaboration between the instructional designers and the customers at every step. These are forces impacting learning. In difficult times, companies may be tempted to reduce training expenditures, but this usually causes them to spend more money in the long run as they correct mistakes that untrained employees make. Globalization impacts learning because global companies are often struggling to find talented employees, often in emerging markets. Companies often place U.S. managers in charge of overseas assignments, but this requires cross-cultural training for both the employee and his or her family to help them understand the culture of the host country. Globalization also means that employees may be coming to the U.S. from other countries, either for low-skill jobs or jobs requiring advanced degrees such as engineering. They will need help assimilating as well. Intangible assets, such as human capital, contribute to a company's competitive advantage because they are difficult to duplicate and imitate. There are different types of capital in addition to financial capital. We've already discussed human capital. It refers to the sum of the attributes, life experiences, knowledge, inventiveness, energy, and enthusiasm that a company's employees invest in their work. Customer capital refers to the value of relationships with persons or other organizations outside the company. Social capital refers to relationships among individuals within a company. And finally, intellectual capital refers to the codified knowledge that exists within a company. The value of intangible assets in human capital has three important implications, including a focus on knowledge workers, employee engagement, and an increased emphasis on adapting to change and continuous learning. Knowledge workers are employees who contribute not through manual labor, but through what they know, perhaps about customers or a specialized body of knowledge. Employee engagement refers to the degree to which employees are fully involved in their work and committed to their job and the company. A learning organization embraces a culture of lifelong learning, enabling all employees to continually acquire and share knowledge. Training can play a significant role in helping an organization reach its strategic goals. But just as companies have different goals, they also have different training needs. The role of training in business strategy is the focus of Chapter 2. Companies face several challenges as a result of changing demographics and the diversity of the workplace. In particular, the workplace is becoming older and more culturally diverse. Not only must organizations provide a fair workplace, they must provide training to enhance diversity and help accommodate the needs of different groups. 5 generations are participating in today's workforce, each one with unique characteristics. To successfully manage a diverse workforce, managers and employees must be trained in a new set of skills, including communicating effectively with employees from a wide variety of backgrounds, coaching, training, and developing employees of different ages, educational backgrounds, or ethnicities, providing performance feedback that is free of values and stereotypes, training managers to recognize and respond to generational differences, and creating a work environment that allows employees of all backgrounds to be creative and innovative. Talent management refers to the systematic, planned, and strategic effort by a company to attract, retain, develop, and motivate highly skilled talent. Talent management is becoming more important because of changes in demand for certain occupations and jobs, skills requirements, the retirement of baby boomers, and the need to develop the next generation of leaders. In addition, surveys suggest that opportunities for career growth and development are some of the most important factors promoting employee engagement. As the occupational structure of the U.S. economy has shifted, skill requirements have changed. The demand for specific skills have shifted to cognitive skills and interpersonal skills. Cognitive and interpersonal skills are important because employees must often take the responsibility for delivering the final product and service in today's service economy. To compete in today's economy, companies need to provide a quality product or service. Total quality management is a company-wide effort to continuously improve the ways that people, machines, and systems accomplish work. The Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award and ISO 9000 quality standards were established to emphasize and recognize high quality. The ISO standards have been adopted as the national quality standards in nearly 100 countries. These standards are often used in manufacturing, processing, servicing, legal services, and financial services, among many others. And these are the criteria for the Baldrige Award. Many companies also use the Six Sigma process for monitoring and improving quality. The Six Sigma process refers to a process of measuring, analyzing, improving, and then controlling processes once they have been brought within the narrow Six Sigma quality tolerances or standards. Training is an important component of the Six Sigma process. Advances in technology have had a significant impact on how training is delivered. These advances allow training to occur at any time and place. They have also made training more realistic and more consistent. Many organizations use blended learning models that include live face-to-face training and training delivered via information technology. For example, training could include a classroom component and then a supplemental online component, much as the way this class is being conducted. There are, however, some challenges with new technology. Not all trainees may be comfortable with the new technology. It may be difficult to engage trainees and ensure compliance with training, and some trainees may desire a greater live interaction with trainers. One of the most popular methods for increasing employee responsibility and control is work teams. Work teams involve employees with various skills who interact to assemble a product or provide a service. Work teams may assume many of the activities reserved for managers, such as hiring new employees or coordinating work activities. Cross-training refers to training employees in a wide range of skills so they can fill any of the roles that need to be performed on a team. Virtual teams refer to teams that are separated by time, geographic distance, culture, and other organizational boundaries, and that rely almost exclusively on technology to interact and complete their projects. The success of work teams requires a clear mission, good communication skills, trust between members, and an understanding of cultural differences as appropriate. Here is a snapshot of training practices. Direct expenditures on training have remained stable for the last few years. There's an increased demand for specialized learning that includes professional or industry-specific content. The use of technology-based learning has increased, and self-paced online learning is the most common technology-based learning. Technology-based learning has helped improve learning efficiency. Technology-based learning has resulted in a larger employee learning staff member ratio, and the percentage of services distributed by external providers has remained about the same for many years. Higher involvement in training by companies is related to the use of innovative training practices and high-performance work practices such as team, employee stock ownership plans, incentive compensation systems, individual development plans, and employee involvement in business decisions. The Association for Talent Development BEST Award winners were companies that aligned training with business strategy, valued learning in their company culture, offered a variety of learning activities for all employees, and measured the effectiveness of training and provided non-training solutions as needed. Trainers typically hold many jobs such as instructional designer, technical training, or needs analysis. The ATD competency model describes what it takes for an individual to be successful in the training and development field. And here are some training roles. The learning strategist determines how workplace learning can be used to help meet the company's business strategy. The business partner uses business and industry knowledge to create training that improves in performance. The project manager plans, obtains, and monitors the delivery of learning and performance solutions to support the business, and the professional specialist designs, develops, delivers, and evaluates learning and performance systems. Having multiple areas of training expertise is becoming a great necessity. Being a successful training professional requires staying up to date on training practices and current research. The primary professional organizations for persons interested in training and development include Association for Talent Development, the Academy of Human Resources Development, Society for Human Resource Management, Society for Industrial and Organizational Psychology, the Academy of Management, and the International Society for Performance Improvement. Some of these organizations also have student chapters. This concludes Module 1.